All right, y'all, what's going on? Look, this is another episode, man. At one point, I almost forgot what number we were on, but we knocking into number 9, episode 9, and we catching some momentum. I appreciate the love, the feedback. Some of the, most of the feedback we get from the folks that's watching, and continue to bring it in, continue to send it in, share, repost, subscribe, like, keep texting us the feedback. We listening, and we got our ears open for the most part. Welcome back to Mic Check, Many Conversations. I got my brothers here. I got my man Josh, got my brother Doc, and I got my brother Zach with me as well as always. And I want to open up, man, and for the first time viewers, just let you guys know, what is this table? This table for Many Conversations. It's exactly what it is. It's Many Conversations. We're gonna be very transparent with you. We giving perspectives from our point of view, either things that we have experienced or some of the things that we believe that we'll be doing on the go forward. I hope our messages resonate. This is a open forum. Doesn't mean you have to take our advice or do what we say do. We do recommend you to be yourself and do your own thing. But all in all, we're going to share our perspectives from our point of view. But look, as always, we got a couple questions that we want to get rolled off with. And I want to go to open this one up to my man, Doc. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to him and get us rolling.
Let's go, man. Hey, another good night, fellas. Let's see what these questions got for us and what we got for the people. So, like DB said, man, the overall topic today is tired of being a strong one. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of heavy hitters already, fellas, from leading while bleeding, you know what I'm saying? Success ain't healing, all those other things. And so we dove into some real deep ones. I think this is equally as important. So
absolutely,
one question we have here, just to kind of set the tone, I think we could dive into this one first, is who's the first person you call when you can't be strong anymore?
Man, that's a good one, bro. And I'll be more than happy to open up. I know for me, I got 2 people, bro. One is going to be my dad. And funny thing is, me and my dad, we have like different lifestyles. But I think that, I think just in general, him being my father, that's somebody that I look forward to getting some kind of feedback from and just hearing his perspective or his thoughts on what he think he would do or what he think I should do. And sometimes he kind of threw this analogy to me one day where it's like, you're going to express yourself, but as a result, 9 times out of 10, I might just be quiet because you kind of already know what you're going to do anyway. That's my dad's philosophy on it. And it's pretty dope to hear because as I continue to like open my Sprite bottle as he makes it, he's like, look, it's like a shake. You shake the bottle up, you start venting, you will start removing that cap. And the more you remove that cap, the more and more pressure going to come up out of there. So you're going to start figuring out the things that you want to do anyway. So I love his analogy on that. And another one, it's funny, I looked through my call log the other day and I told my brother, I was like, bro, you the person I call the most through my call log. And I looked at the next name, and the next name was my man, Zach. I talk to Zach about at least 2-3 times a week. And sometimes just be on the way to the crib. Mm-hmm. And so that's another person that I would reach out to when I just need a vent, and when I got the wild thoughts going, I'll talk to my man Zach. He kind of like put it back on par for me. So those are probably the 2 main people that I reach out to.
If I want like a honest opinion, I talk to Zach quite often too, man. Zach,
hey Zach, we appreciate you, bro. Hey, shout out to Zach, bro.
Shout out to Zach, bro. Shout out to Zach, bro.
I appreciate y'all, man.
All the way across the world, bro.
Word.
But nah, man. I talked to Zach, and I talked to I got 2 homeboys that I grew up with, Trey and Byron. Shout out to them too, man. Like we done been through it all. So if I need to like vent or something like that, bro, you know what I'm saying? If it's deep, I'll definitely reach out to Zach. We've built that brotherhood and that relationship over the years. But I would say my boys, Trey and Byron. So that's who I really, and I reach out to my dad, but I really don't. Half the time, he gonna tell me what I don't want to hear. So
yeah.
I ain't really trying to hear what he talk, because he gonna give me that real, that raw.
Hey, funny thing is, bro, you need that, bro. Like I feel like we do need that person that's gonna tell us the shit that we don't need, that we don't want to hear. Right. So I recommend make sure you pull him back in, bro.
I mean, for me, man, I have a few brothers, Derek being one, Josh being one, my boy Ryan out in Texas, my good man, Mr. Lala. Y'all know who he is. But the one that, like Josh said, that I used to call, where I put myself in a space where she wasn't gonna give me no bullshit, it was my mother, man. My mother was that first person that I called when I couldn't be strong. You know, my mother has recently passed on, and I haven't found myself in a space to like call on anyone in those moments. So I
Yeah.
do have good people around me. I mentioned y'all. But first and foremost, my wife, you know, she is my rock. She can tell when something's wrong with me. She helps me navigate through those tough times. But my uncle is another driving force, another individual who does just that. We talked about him a little bit, I think a couple podcasts ago, but he'll hold me accountable, man. Give me that hard truth and tell me when I'm equally as wrong as the motherfucker that I'm blaming. So, for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, man, I love it, and I like too, like how because it was generic, right? And so I like the avenue we took as far as like brothers, and a lot of times that's what we'll gravitate towards because we feel like, obviously like men, we'll be able to understand a little bit more of what's going on and can really like step in our shoes or whatever. But mothers too, man, and I could throw my mother in there. Obviously, my wife, when it's something that I feel that I'm not trying to put the burden on her or my mom or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. I definitely say I got some guys in my corner, man, as well, to where, at any time of the day, night, man, I call and, I know they're going to either answer, they're going to, not just agree with me, but challenge my thoughts as well. My boy Chris Waller, man, that's one, solid brother, sandbox kids, what we call us, man, that, grew up together, seen a lot and all of that, man. And that's a real solid brother there. My other boy Kyle Elmore, yeah, that's my other guy. Really solid brother as well. That's married even longer than I've been, and so just really kind of getting his perspective on a lot of things of
Mm-hmm.
like milestone transitions of my life personally, and he's a father as well. And then and little Kev, man, Kevo, man.
Hey.
Shout out to Kev, man.
Hey, you
Shout
know
out to
what's funny?
Kev, man.
I was sitting here waiting, like, all right, when you gonna say Kev, bro?
The reason I put him last,
Big
no
shit.
particular order, but the reason I put him last is because y'all know Kev and y'all know like
Yeah, yeah.
his wild perspective on things, man. To really keep you
Yeah.
grounded, keep everything, lightweight, man. And if I'm tripping on something, man, he always, tends to just kind of bring it back to surface level, bro. So solid guys that completes the principle of it all, but approach it in different ways, man. But you keep, you continue to reach a solid ground. And so shout out to those guys. Shout out to the guys that y'all mentioned as
Absolutely.
well, and the women in our lives that we can really lean on where we can't be strong anymore. So I would say when it comes to like strength and when it comes to us, you know, not feeling that we're strong any longer, like what do y'all typically like tap into solicited advice or do y'all welcome unsolicited advice? I heard we talked about like for example, Josh, you said pops, I know for my pops, he's going to give me unsolicited advice as well. If it's real heavy on his heart, you know what I'm saying? If I'm just out here just not doing something I'm supposed to be doing, which is very seldom that's the case. I'm not perfect, but, I'm moving away to where I feel like I don't want to put an extra burden on my parents. So you don't got to
Right.
worry about Doc. Doc handling business the way y'all taught him to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of like a big
Yeah.
satisfaction moment for me. And
And
so, are those unsolicited things welcome though? Because it's times where pops grab me aside, unks, whatever, and they just kind of like, "Hey, dog, listen here." You may not want to
man,
hear it at that time.
it is welcome. And, since I've worked since the ninth grade, first job was at McDonald's, like back in '08. I've been working ever since. But my dad has always taught me, and he watches these podcasts, so shout out to Rock Girl.
Yeah.
You say you've been working there ever since. I want to correct that. You not still working there.
No, I've been working
Okay.
since '08.
Oh,
No,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
That was
he
me,
said
bro.
working
That was
since he
me.
said his first job was
Okay,
making
that was
beats.
me.
my
That was
first job.
me.
Come on, DB. That's
Yeah.
why I say you on
Hey,
here.
and I got headphones in too. My bad. Go ahead,
Right,
bro.
right.
But my dad always told me the importance of saving a dollar.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Save. You gotta save, save, save. And I'm still working on that aspect. I do save, but not like he wants me to save because he always told me one thing that's gonna happen in life. You're gonna have one big major setback. Two,
Yeah.
really, in life that you're gonna have to be able to bounce back from. So you always gotta have some little nest egg to the side. And
Mm-hmm.
even now, at my older age of 32, he's always, how much you save, man? You gotta save. You gonna have that rainy day. You
yeah,
gonna have that rainy day,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to make sure that you got a nest egg. And I'm in the
Hey,
golf. I done got into
that's
golf.
a
You know what I'm
solid
saying?
one.
I went to my little, instead of buying sneakers, I've been buying cowboy boots. I'm in my little cowboy boot phase, but my dad's like, all that stuff is nice, man. But how much
Catch
are
him
you
on a trail
saving?
ride.
Yeah.
How much are you saving?
Yeah.
My dad is always gonna give that unsolicited. You know what I'm saying? I see you got the nice boots on, man, but how much are you putting to the side for that rainy
Yeah.
day? And there's gonna be a rainy day.
Absolutely, bro. It's funny because I love that type of unsolicited advice, though. I think at like a certain age, when we get to a certain age, we like, bro, Daddy was right. Pops was absolutely right. And even now, like talking to like our kids or nephews or just youngsters. I know last year, Zach and Josh, we was on that cruise last year. We sat down with some young dudes
Yeah.
and was
Yeah.
just telling them like, bro, and we try to teach them game in a positive way. I think some of that stuff slide right off until a scenario comes across their life or that moment, and then it's like, bro, them dudes was right. My uncle, my dad was right. And I feel like I think I'm in that space now, bro, where in I think the mid 30s, really between like 27 and 35 is where you kind of know like this is the time that like this is the hardest point of our life right now. This is the learning point, and then we got a turning point. And I think the turning point probably gonna hit after 35, 36, and plus and going from there. Um Unsolicited advice is welcome, bro. And I love that from your pops, man, being able to share that. And still asking you questions today
Yeah,
about that.
sure.
Right.
For sure. Man, I think it's definitely important, man, to welcome it because like I think back, I never was to your example, DB, I never was those type of guys where something astronomical had to happen to me before I learned my lesson. Like when I've been called an old soul anyway. A lot of people who
I
know
already
me.
say, bro, that don't even surprise me, bro.
So, for me, it registered, and maybe too because I'm the second child. And I ain't the oldest. So my sister, she was the rebel. She was the one that was experimenting and doing things and all of that stuff. And I learned from her. I learned a lot from her as
Yeah.
well. And confiding in her a lot as well. So maybe it's a little bit of that to where it's just like, okay, I see it. It's like, all right, cool. I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and go this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that just I feel even if it's something that's verbal or nonverbal cues, and what can just observe. So people who's watching this, man, it's like, when you're not feeling strong too, even if you don't even have the person to actually speak to like verbalize what's going on, just kind of be aware of your surroundings and the people who's around you as well. Because a lot of learning can come from that. A lot of like your strength you can pick up from those things and those cues that you can see and feel and touch, without
Hmm.
anything being verbalized essentially.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I think that's that's a smart move though, Doc. And I would say that I learned by mistakes, bro. Man, and sometimes it bites me. And the caveat to that is my kids are watching too. And sometimes I really don't want them to see that piece. I don't want them to see me get bit because especially right now, my son, he's in a point in his life where he's kind of like, well, you did this. Why can't I do this? And I'm like, bro, you don't want to do that. Trust me, I've
Right.
experienced it.
Right.
And because of that, you don't want to do that. Trust me, that shit hurt. So you don't want to do it. So it's dope that, that people actually do have the mindset of like, all right, let me watch and that'll be my experience versus me doing and falling in a hole and trying to have to dig myself out of it.
Yeah.
Even with that, as like a father, as a guardian, as like a husband, or just an overseer of some sort. So protector is what we, like to call ourselves as well, or the thing we identify with the most in certain cases. I think that like how does y'all approach be to when you're like seeing something like your child or whatever the case may be, or a nephew or a niece making that same mistake, and like where's the boundary to where it's just like I have to allow them to. I can't be a hypocrite in these situations. I have to allow them to make that mistake because it's for their good, versus I gotta save you from this mistake that you about to make. Like where is that line drawn for y'all? If that makes sense.
I think the line for me, it's drawn where you don't want them to do something detrimental to the aspect of where they're going to hurt themselves or
Mm-hmm.
put themselves in a situation where there's no turning from that.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned, like Derek mentioned, the most is from my own mistakes, but also having those individuals to shield me from the unnecessary outcome. Like Derek
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about his son saying, "You did this, why can't I?" So he was able to articulate why he shouldn't be able to do it. I think oftentimes where people, it was once said, if you do something over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome, it's insanity, right? I think to prevent that person from going in that realm of insanity, we have to be those leaders or those ones in their ear to say, all right, you touched that. You didn't like how it felt, right? You know what I mean? That's just an example of like, let him hurt himself for a second. Let him fall. Let him get back up. And if that person is willing to sit there and take that criticism, rather, or take that constructive criticism, and you're trying to just shape them and go into that space and telling them like what is right and wrong. But there's a difference from coming at it from that point and the I told you so aspect of it, right? Because sometimes that can be a level of resentment or rebellion, where parenting, for example, I don't have children, but I've been in cases where my parents did have that I told you so approach. And I had to go back and unfortunately make that mistake again. Yeah. And unfortunately relive through that experience of, I didn't like it the first time. I didn't like it the second time. My parents may have told me so, but somebody need to show me how to do it right. And I think that's where we got to draw that line, and it's how we deliver that criticism to those individuals.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah. Absolutely. And funny thing, I feel like even now, maybe it's this day and age. And I'm speaking from my experiences. So everybody that's watching, I'm speaking from my experience, not yours, not anybody else's. But even just looking around, like kids are so okay with putting that back on you if that's the type of person that you are, especially today. I think the generation, it's just different. When we were kids, there's certain things we couldn't say to our parents. Right. But this set of kids, bro, is built so different. And I'm not even talking about my household. I've seen this too, where, if you're a told you so person, your kid is watching and doing the exact same thing. It goes right back to doing the same thing that you're doing in terms of just what they're watching.
I used to get my ass whipped if I try to throw that back on my parents.
Man, listen, absolutely.
Yeah.
No abuse, but
that's how you do
they,
it.
It won't consider that at that point.
Right. It won't consider abuse. Nowadays they call that
discipline.
They out there calling people.
I call DSS. You can't whoop me because I call DSS right now.
Hey, call them.
Right.
Call them.
Right.
But I think
I double dog.
In that regard, to what you were saying, and I think we talked about this maybe on episode 2 or 3, and maybe it was episode 1. You know what I'm saying? Some kids, they'll see a way, and like I feel like I did a way too. They'll develop their own way, and then that's when we take a step back. If you feel like I can't teach you nothing, you feel like I don't know nothing, keep living, young blood.
Yeah.
You'll see it. You'll run into it.
Yeah. And
then when you run into it, you're going to think about what I said.
Absolutely.
When I try to warn you.
Yeah.
Pray to God it's not too late.
And that's how they got to learn, man. That's how I learned by mistakes. I think some kids you got to let them do their own thing.
A hard head will bring a soft sit down.
And
absolutely.
I totally agree with that. And I think, like it's levels to it for sure. Just don't, it depending on what the situation is. But I think what I'm hearing too is that like, keep that line of communication open, even if that's a learning opportunity for that youngin', like allow them the space to come back and let you know where they messed up at, so you can use that as a coaching opportunity or a mentor opportunity as well. Because, with that I told you so mentality, Zach, like you said, now I got to go out and prove you wrong. Like now it's not a sense of I'm learning something, it's a sense of a competition at this point. Like I'm going to rebel that much, and that's just our nature to do so. So I definitely hear that, man. That's respect. So hopefully somebody, who's watching that it resonates with them as well. We got a couple more questions here, man. So I'll just kind of go over to the next one. I think like what we can transition to is like we talked about who's the one person you can call to like when you're not feeling strong, but like sometimes people, like I mentioned before, don't have that person, or sometimes they're not much of a talker, they shut down, whatever the case may be, when they're not feeling strong. You can see a different side of people when they're feeling strong, when they're feeling confident. And then when they're not, it's nonverbal. It's a lot of those types of cues, man. So for those individuals who struggle with that and can't really speak on things, what is that one thing you wish you could say out loud without feeling judged? Because some people may feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say this and I'm struggling now. I'm not feeling my best. I'm down, bro. Life is lifing. I'm getting beat down, bro. But I can't talk on this because I know somebody gonna judge me. That's a heavy one too.
I would say for me, man, is I think continuing to like to be, I'm not saying muscle in the way of saying like I'm pulling anything or lifting or carrying it for anybody, but being the one that's like the strong one, being the one that's that, that people can call on to vent and things like that, or even like lending a hand at times. I feel like because I'm willing I'm able to do that. I think people sometimes forget that I'm human too. I think that I mean, I'll even speak like financially. For example, I may be able to lend somebody $200-300, right? But hey, Derek, sometimes I might get broke too. You don't not call and check on me. And I think for me, bro, and me and my brother, we had a conversation about this a couple months ago over dinner. And I'm like, man, look, this shit hurts sometimes, bro. Being the one that have to call and reach out to everybody. And I'm not saying me right now, but I'm like, it's a disadvantage in a sense when your family doesn't call to check on you like you call to check on them. And I think that for me, bro, I call people all the time. I get a couple calls every now and then, but for the most part, it would be nice to get that love reciprocated in a way, and to say like, twin Derek, he human too, just as much. Let me just call to check on his mental. Let me call to just see if he need anything. Let me call to see if his kids need anything.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, man, you got everything, kind of like tighten up in the sense of just visual. I tell people all the time, bro, Instagram they get what I give it. Social media get what we give it. You're not gonna see nobody on Instagram and Facebook talking about, yo, this shit tough, da 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 da, and posting it. You gonna see the good stuff, but don't let that overshadow the fact that person that's posting that video or that picture is also human. They want to be checked on just as much too. So I think for me, bro, I think that's the biggest thing that I would want to be able to speak about without feeling judged in a sense, or having somebody like bring pity over the conversation. No, I'm just expressing myself. And I feel like, being able to do that shouldn't be looked at any other way than me just expressing myself.
I had to piggyback on that, D, and I appreciate you, being open and honest with that, man, because, again, I think that's what the question is warranting, right? Pure honesty from us. So from my standpoint, I'm like, D, I consider myself being a strong individual that people call on and call. And this, what I'm about to say does not pertain to none of my brothers that I mentioned that I call on when I need you. But there are some times where people will call me, or I'm the strong one, and work. I'm the strong one, just in particular in this group of individuals, for the sake. Well, I'm just the strong one out in the open in the world, man. It's something that I really want to say out loud, man.
Yeah.
In the words of T.K. Kirkland, is who raised you, motherfuckers, man? Because people be trash, man. Because as soon as you straight up say it to their face, like, who raised you? Like, why are you this way? Like, confronting them with all of the bullshit that they bring it towards you, or you're in a setting where it's just, you're not tolerating that BS, right? So you come off as, now I'm the bad guy.
Yes.
So people want to say things like, are you hating or you bullying? But, that's why my circle's small. I got a good group of people around me, but the older you get, the more I have a zero tolerance for it. But yes, man, that's ultimately what I would say. Who raised you, motherfuckers, man? Because sometimes I want to feel like, who's the culprit of your lifetime of BS, man? Like, because it gets to a point in time. We all know that person where it's like, God damn, bro. Again. Again. Who raised you, motherfuckers, man? For real.
But
that's what I want to say out loud.
And sometimes you got to kind of, not project it back, but you got to, I try my best to find a tone to be able to like relay that message at times. Sometimes it ain't worth it. I'll be like, this ain't even worth the energy. I'm not even going to do it. But sometimes you got to relay that message back too, bro.
Yeah. And that's what I struggle with, because I try to do the tone and tack with it. But like, you be like, man, I said it to Buddy Nice 6 times already.
Man,
mm-hmm.
Now I gotta I'm gonna make myself the bad guy.
Yeah, bro. After like 3 times, I don't care no more, bro. I mean, and I'm thinking more so like outside the house. In the house, I try my best. I'm working on my calmness at the crib, bro. I'm working on that. But outside the crib, I'm after 3 times, you really gonna see the Derek that's like, that was a skill what I was doing for the first 3. That was a skill. This is my behavior now. So you gonna get the real me after the fact. But
don't touch his charger.
I feel like it's worth it. No, definitely
don't touch that man charger.
Don't mess with my charger, bro. Hey, that's the insider, bro. But
I'm like that. I agree with y'all, man. I think like patience is a virtue, man. But it also goes back to what Zach said. Who raised you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The upbringing is such a, your upbringing sets the foundation for in a way of how your life is gonna play out. Yes, you could have been brought up in a single parent household. We got into that episode 1. Know that does not have to be the stigma that's on your life that you can't go out there and be great in
Right.
the world and stuff like that. But
Yep.
once it goes again, it goes back to who raised you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think in this season, this time, 2025 is just like you gotta have patience with these people, man. Just people in general. To our listeners, you understand. You got to have patience with this younger generation and just people as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
because you know who raised you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Point blank
Yeah.
clear. I mean, I couldn't have said it no better. Like, who raised
No facts.
you?
That's a
Shout
fact.
out to TK, because it's just like what apple fell from the tree. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
And then but then you'll meet one of those people, man. They come from a great place.
right.
All their siblings is on track and on
That's
point,
what,
and you be
That's
like,
what
"Damn,
it's
what
like.
happened?
What happened here, bro? You got
What
about
a paternity
six
test on
siblings, bro.
Buddy, man?
Yeah.
a couple eggs short of the omelet.
Good lord."
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely feel it, man. I think yeah, it's a consensus I think that we have around, just like as we all identify as strong, man. It's hard to show that level of vulnerability. And so for me, yeah, I think when it comes to being judged, it just depends on who you share that vulnerable information with. Like for the
Hmm.
people who we called out, that's why we raised it and set the tone with that question, because the likelihood is that those individuals, they won't necessarily judge you, but I don't think there's any harm in like constructive criticism either. You know what I'm saying? But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's two different things. Somebody that's judgmental is acting like, they stuff smell better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But somebody that's giving you constructive criticism is really just kind of dialed in and really focused on your growth, in my opinion. So really just who you let in your circle and in your environment, and who you're expressing those levels of weaknesses with, because not every experience or not every testimony, is right for everybody to hear.
Right.
They got to be willing to receive that. And if they, on that hater stuff, or acting like they're holier than thou, you'll get a sense of that. But the people I
Yeah.
think that we called out, I'm glad that this group actually has people who they can rely on. They don't have to worry about feeling judged. They can really get everything they need to get out in a way that doesn't feel watered down either by the time you do get it out. But no,
Absolutely.
that takes us into another question as well, man.
Hey,
Like I
hey, Doc.
said,
Before you slide, can I let me jump back real quick? Just maybe even for the
oh
listeners,
yeah,
just in general, as the fellas, man. I think that one thing that we should even like bring to the forefront: if you're tired, it's okay to say that you're tired. I think as men, we kind of keep that inside,
keep going.
and yeah, we keep it housed up, bro. And I think that one is dangerous enough to keep it housed up when you really are exhausted. I think a lot of us, and this might be petty, but a lot of us don't even take naps because we feel like that's an unproductive time. And I will be
Yeah,
honest, man, naps are so critical, bro. If you need the nap, take the nap. But if you
I
ever
love
feel
it.
tired, it's okay to say that. And I think sometimes, man, that when we
Loving it.
get to a point of expressing ourselves that we're tired, I think sometimes people look at it as like a strength thing. But that's not the thing, bro. I want to make it a norm in the sense that we can say that we're tired and not feel guilty about us expressing that. So just want to make it a custom and a norm that it's okay to say that we're tired, we're exhausted.
yeah. You need a minute. Like
Absolutely.
I need that. Nah, facts. I'm glad you stopped me, DB, because that's profound, man. I'm one of those people, bro. Like I don't take naps at all. I gotta be very tired, for me to do that, and I shouldn't allow my body to get to that point of exhaustion,
Yeah.
before I reset it, man. And it's a powerful thing because we always on go, and so I definitely agree 110% for that.
Especially fathers, man. I mean, and not just fathers, but I feel like a lot of us, like I talk to Zach pretty often. Like I said earlier, I talk to Josh, and we're always on the way somewhere,
Hmm.
right?
Bro.
Always doing something, and I feel like that is a point. Like that is a point. Like you always on the go. Cool, sit down. And I
Bro,
would say,
Like,
Zach,
chill
we would just
for a
talk.
second.
Yeah, sit down,
Literally.
relax.
I'll even take, for example, when we went to the Bahamas last year. We went on vacation for a whole week and got zero rest.
Yeah,
I'll be damned.
that's
I
typically
slept
how
in one. I
vacation
slept in
goes.
like 1 or 2 days.
Brother, hey,
Hey,
DB
listen.
said, y'all, I'm gonna holler at y'all later on one of them
Yes,
nights.
sir.
I think in the capacity we got rest. Myself, I got a mental break.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
escaped the
yeah,
reality of the real
yeah,
world. We
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about physical rest and mental rest. So I'm a big advocate for you ain't got to take a sick day from work ill, man, take a mental health day, man.
Absolutely, bro.
Take a day to just calm the brain down, calm the nervous system down, man. That's something that I
Yep.
think a lot of men, especially black men, but a lot of men in general, man, channeling your nervous system and allowing
Yes.
that to take a break.
Yeah.
Because you'll realize so many more things that come to you with a little bit more ease when you just give yourself a chance to just sit down and allow that
Yeah.
nervous system to just do what it's got to do. You ain't got to take a nap. Lay there and meditate, man.
This process.
Go get a little quiet closet or something, man.
Yeah, that's so important, Zach. That's important that you said that, bro. A mental health day. Because I know I worked with a company in the past who gave those like 3 or 4 a year.
God,
And you don't have to have a reason. I actually gave that to my kids. My son, he knows that he could take, bro, if you just got a day that you just don't feel like going to school, it's okay. They won't call CPS on them for you missing this one day for no reason.
Right.
So it's okay to go ahead and skip. Let us know. We'll give you 1 to 2 of those every semester, and we go from there. But I love that, bro.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
dope.
I mean, and to our listeners, man, like, make sure you have an outlet outside of work.
Yes.
I know in my profession, man, that they're so gung ho about the work that they do, and I'm just like, yo, y'all got the, like, it can't be this go all the time, man. Have something to do outside of work.
Yeah, and they don't even talk about work. I don't even want to talk about work when I leave work,
Right.
bro.
Don't go somewhere else just to talk about
Right.
work. Like,
Yeah.
just exclude that from the conversation ultimately. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's
Gotcha.
right. That's something me and my wife practice, man. Like, we out and about. If it's a space to where we trying to, like you said, mentally cleanse ourselves, man, we ain't talking about work. We'll talk about that the day, when we return or on the flight back or whatever the case may be. But no, all of those points make sense to me for sure.
Damn, I was thinking about a car ride. You talking about flight back?
Hey, we got we ain't been on one in a while. We need to.
See, y'all different over there.
Hey, manifestation.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So another question we got here, folks. We have one here that's pretty much kind of like piggybacking off what we just kind of discussed a little bit. We all again identified, as like strong men in our relationships, our friendships, family, and things like that. We hold down the fort. We take care of a lot of things. So, like, do we think that people? This question reads: do we think that people lean on you because you built that reputation, or because they don't know how else to handle their stuff?
I think people lean on strong people around them because it's a natural thing to do. There is a reason that a person is a leader. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't have to be titled. We all got that individual or people that we've seen leadership qualities in, or they're strong, and we may just lean on those people. So because of those actions and that person being strong, you'll become a safe space, or that person will become a safe place, right? So for someone who is struggling in an area that you are not strong in, eventually you'll lean on that person, whether it be finances, Derek alluded to earlier, right? Someone may really say, Derek is just so savvy. I know that if I need something, I might can go to him and lean on him in this strong suit. It could be a spiritual thing. Somebody want to tap into Doc or Josh, and it's like, I'm really struggling. I need a scripture to get me through this rough time in my life. It could be a physical thing. So we all have our own unique strengths. So I think it's just being in that space that you're strong in, or someone might be stronger in their own space. I think that would naturally make someone gravitate towards that strength.
I'm with you, Zach. I piggyback. Everybody loves a leader that can win.
Yes.
Back in the day, Bulls. I'm not passing the ball to Rodman. When I pass the ball to Pippen, I'm passing the ball to Mike. You feel me?
Yeah.
'Cause I know Mike gonna do his thing. Mike gonna win us the game. So that's why everybody gravitated towards Mike. Now, when that documentary came out, they hated Mike, but you know what I'm saying. For the most part, Mike was a go-to guy. That's who you want. When it's tie game, 3.2 seconds left on the clock. Who wants the ball? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who wants to give Mike the ball? The team. You know what I'm saying? Because they know he's gonna score. So.
And you know what's funny? I'm sitting here thinking about that analogy, bro, and that's a dope one too. As I think about it, I'm like, Mike never really got tired, bro. I mean, as the main go-to.
He played with the flu.
He'll go play after playing 36 holes of golf. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to
Mm-hmm.
struggle to get through 9. And to think you
Hey,
playing
look, you should have seen us
36
yesterday.
and then it's crazy. It's crazy. You're right. Because half the time I'm looking for my darn ball anyway. So that
Right,
adds up
right.
to, we
Hey,
ain't gonna talk about that.
I sent y'all a good video. That the other ones were
It
terrible.
was like 5 minutes worth of some other stuff.
Yeah.
But all in all, man, that's dope. I will say, in terms of like people leaning on me because I built that reputation, I would say absolutely. It's almost unintentional though that you've built that.
Yes.
Because I would be honest, bro. Sometimes I sit back, I'm like, what? How do people really, feel comfortable confiding in me? What did I do? Don't get me wrong, I love it. But at the same time, it kind of goes back to, one of the questions Dr. asked at the top of the call, being able to have somebody else, as an outlet, or how can you express yourself, or more so just feel human. They think you perfect. If they can come and vent to you, it's almost like, bro, I come with damage too. Just a heads up. So hopefully you got the capacity to listen to me just as much as I can listen to you. We going through some shit, like both of us
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Equal.
But all in all, yeah, absolutely, man. And I would say that, to answer your question, or the question, Doc, I would say yes. I think that people do tend to lead on us in general, whether it be me leading to my dad, or me leaning into Zach. I think that unintentionally they've probably built that reputation of being that person that can be a listening ear. Don't get me wrong. I've heard times like where Zach's like, bro, I ain't got the capacity. I can't. I'm good. Or he got some stuff going on. So in a sense, it's like, I know this is not the perfect time to pour what I got in my cup over to Zach in terms of my worries, my issues. And same with my dad. I can call my dad. I can hear it. So I know when not to do it, but the reputation is there based on the conversations that we had. But also, I think the second piece of that question too, because some people just don't know how else to handle what they got going on. So I mean, and to be honest, I even Doc, me and you, we chatted one time about you having your son. And I'm like, bro, hit me up. You gonna get to a point where you don't know what to do as a father, and I'm hoping that I can at least kind of be that avenue for you. So I at least open the door. I don't know everything either, but I can tell you from my perspective. And if you ever get to a point where it's like, bro, I'm at a point where I don't know what the hell to do, and I might be like, you know what, Doc, I got you, bro. Let me break it down. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. And I think that's also me setting up that reputation for you, which for me, I open that door to people that I care for, and that's really it for me. I mean, I don't open it up for everybody,
Right.
because sometimes, bro, I walk away. Quick, you should have seen me and Twin on lunch today. Some dude tried to talk our head off, and I'm like, all right, bro, we finna check out.
Holla at
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, because this ain't the time, bro. I don't know you. I don't want you to invest that into me when you might not even
Right.
see me anymore.
Right.
So yes, so absolutely, man. Yes, and yes to the question.
Got you. Yeah, I think that's very heavy, man, and I totally agree. And what I agree with is the perspective. Well, what I agree with mostly is the perspective on the second half of the question, because I think, like, going back to the basketball analogy of like Michael Jordan, which I agree. I think, like, and then to your point, Zach, of like how people have different or gravitate to different unique leaders. I think for
Mm-hmm.
me, like the leadership quality, I guess I would gravitate towards, and what I feel like I want to embellish and portray out as well for people who confide in me, is kind of like a LeBron leadership mentality. Like for me, like, no, I know I'm this person to where a lot of people seek advice from, or put place in a position to lead in whatever capacity that may look like. But I also want to, as I'm doing that, plant little seeds there so they can grow, so the people who are confided in me can learn, so that way the likelihood is that you may not need me so frequently. You know what I'm saying? That's always the goal for me. Like when it's a point in time to where it's just like, okay, last week we was talking about this, the same thing. I'm just like, it's either something that I'm saying that's not registering, or you're not really ready for me to really tap into what really needs to be done here, whatever it could be. But I think that's kind of like how I interpret that question. I think that yes, you do build a reputation. I do think that for me personally, it's not a reputation that was intentional. I'm just being me. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, like,
Mm-hmm.
people organically gravitate towards that, and that's totally fine. I'm used to that by now, right? I used to rebel against it a lot, but I'm just like, dude, like, you've been placed in different situations where it's the same responsibility. It's either you disagree but commit. That's kind of like what my motto is with that.
You ever open the door on mistake? Like you ever?
Yes.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably one of the worst And I mean, I feel for the person that's pushing that message, but I've opened that door before, bro, many times where it got to a point it's like, yo, let's go to the side room over here, we'll chat. And that conversation got to be an hour of that person just venting.
Yes.
Man, that's where I feel like I can't even give an analogy on that one, but that's when I'll get tired. That's where I'll get exhausted because I'm like, man, I can't believe I did this. But now you learning. I'm learning. Don't do that again, bro.
Yeah,
you gotta relax.
Don't enable that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
I'll give you the analogy of a personal trainer, right? You know, you got somebody that's never really worked out or something like that, and they want to gain or lose or whatever the case may be, whatever the goal is, right? A personal trainer, I'm one to believe, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but a personal you don't need a personal trainer for a whole year, okay? I feel like you need a trainer for a month, maybe 2 months at that. Because all you need to know is the basics. You need to know the roadmap. You need to know the guide, what you need to do to obtain this goal. And then it's all on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta walk into it. You just gotta go there, put in the work, because you already know the map, the plan on what you need to do to reach your goal.
It's a mentality, bro.
It's a
That's
mindset.
mentality.
Because
It's a
I can
mentality.
feed you fish for dinner, but if I teach you how to fish, you can feed yourself
Right.
the rest of your life, baby.
Exactly.
You'll never go
Hey.
hungry if I teach you how to
Right.
fish.
Yep.
That's
It's definitely a mentality.
That's all I'm saying. Very
And
much.
to our listeners out there that's paying for personal training all year, you only need 2 months. 1 month.
Hey, don't stop that man from making his money.
Come on, man.
And I will say, I'll speak.
It's a
Look,
rip-off.
I'll say sometimes I need that push. I need somebody that's going to talk that trash. But at the same time, my pockets don't need that either, though. So I feel like it's almost like it's a tough one to battle with. But no, I feel it, bro. I think if anything, I think I did a personal training once, maybe just for 2 or 3 months, and from there, I kind of got the basics down. I got the ropes, so I think I'm good. Yeah, to move forward without.
Yeah, man, it's you welcome the conversation, you welcome how you can be of service to other people, in our fraternity, that's what we're about. And I think like ultimately, you got to set boundaries too, though. You can't, just allow people to be so accessible to, or you be so accessible to them rather, that they take advantage of your time and the things that you have going on. So, we are
Absolutely.
superheroes in our personal lives, man. And I think we'll continue to be that. That's what we've been ordained to be. And so rooting for y'all brothers, man, to stay mentally savvy and strong. And, just for our listeners as well, again, just kind of recapping, having a person to confide in, somebody you rely on in your vulnerable or just like weak moments. And then also too, making sure that in that expression, you're not watering things down. You're really getting it off your chest, man. Really saying what you feel and meaning by that. And ultimately, is going to, put you in a position to where you don't feel like that pressure cooker and it's about to go time out and all the steam blowing out of it, man. And so definitely have those individuals in your space, and make sure that you're taking care of your mental as well.
Absolutely.
And I think everything else will follow through.
One thing,
Absolutely.
Doc, I want to hit on when you're talking about that being that strong individual, right? I think some people who are naturally strong people, naturally strong ladies, they rebel against it, man. I think that there are some people that being a strong one is just something that's just bestowed on you, man. From the time you were born, and you got to embrace it. And we're not sitting here saying that we have all the tools to show you how to embrace it. I just would say my advice would be is just learn how to tap into your ability to be that strong person that people constantly keep leaning in towards you. Because the more and more you run away from it, the more and more you just blocking your blessing, a blessing that you was born with. Everybody can't be strong because we wouldn't have problems in the world.
Right.
We wouldn't. So learn how to embrace it, because some of us are just bestowed from the time we were born. When my mother passed, I didn't think I could be that strong, but it was bestowed upon me to be that one, to step up and be there and help my family in that weak moment that they were in. And in my moment of being weak, I had to be that strong one. But even though I had my moments of breaking down, it was just people were counting on me. So I would just say to our listeners out there who struggle with that, or who may find themselves in a space where you want to be weak, be that weak person, but be the strongest weak person in that setting.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'll say, man, find that outlet is the biggest thing. Find your outlet, bro. It's so critical to do that. And even in a sense, I think and this may be a perfect way to like introduce a mentor into your life.
Definitely need
I
a
highly
mentor.
recommend a mentor.
Yeah, that's
And yeah, and like and not even an old head. You know, somebody that just kind of like either right alongside with you, or somebody that has kind of walked that walk already that you're currently facing and walking at the moment. Man, reach out to somebody, find that resource. And I would even go as deep as saying, like, ask that person if they can be your mentor. That way they know what role they're doing,
Yes.
versus just tossing it on them, because that way they can kind of get you different with the feedback. Some people are not as straightforward, but if they know that you have them listed as a mentor, I think that's when they'll be more apt to give you that straightforward feedback.
Right.
I really feel like, man, another solid episode, fellas.
Sure.
Yes.
So
I love the different perspectives. It's dope just hearing even from you three, and including myself. Hopefully, this is something that the viewers and each of us are enjoying. Even just hearing and learning about each other and shit. Even learning about ourselves. I feel like even as we continue to pour out some of the things that we're looking forward to seeing later, or even the things we've been through, we either know that we either had a messed up life growing up, or things are just completely different now, and we're noticing the two differences. So another dope topic, man. Another dope conversation, and look, tired of being a strong one is one that I think is definitely okay to be. It's okay to express that you're tired. It's okay to find yourself an outlet. Don't try to house it in. I think Zach, he kind of hit on keeping that stuff trapped in. And I'm adding words, but that can also lead back to the mental health space. So make sure you find your outlet, your person that you can reach out to, whether it be your spouse, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your dad, or just the best friends. But look, as always, man, I usually end this thing off with what is this table? Just like we started out at the top, but I'm gonna pass this one over to my brother Zach and let him close us out in terms of what this table means to him for men in conversation.
Absolutely, man. This table means to me, men in conversation, a group of men where you can go, you can be vulnerable. We got mic check. So I think I like to say is you guys check in with us while we check in on you. And our idea of checking in on you is just giving you this wealth of knowledge. We're not clinical doctors over here where we can tell you what's going to make your life go left or right. But with this space is where you can come and you can be vocal. You can say things that you didn't want to say. You can ask the question that you can't ask someone ask that question. And this conversation, in this group rather, we'll do our best to try to have that conversation with you. Yes, we're talking with each other right here, but this is for the viewers. We wouldn't be doing this because we can call each other like we do all the time to have this exact conversation. We're just doing what I said a little bit early on was tapping into the blessing. Tapping into our blessing where we can have this conversation and reach people across the country, out of this country, next door, down the street. So Men in Conversation is somewhere where we check in on you while you check in with us.
Respect. Well said.
I love it, bro.
good show. Love it, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, we're gonna go ahead and close up on another one, man. Another blessing, coming straight from the heart from us. We appreciate you guys checking in. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys repost, like, share, send it to your uncle, send it to your dad, your granddad, send it to everybody.
Yes.
Your mom.
No, that's where all the
And look-
family members at.
Out on Facebook, absolutely. Hey, look, we're gonna go ahead and close up, man. Men in Conversations, mic checking, we checking out, all right?
We out.